The Indiana Pacers stood just 2 victories away from clinching the NBA Finals. Tyrese Haliburton had emerged as the driving force behind this remarkable postseason run. His electrifying performances transformed Indiana into a formidable championship contender. Then the criticism started. After Game 2's crushing 107-123 defeat to the Oklahoma City Thunder, media voices began questioning Haliburton's performance. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith delivered a particularly harsh assessment on First Take. "Win the damn chip, bro. That ain't on me." "That's on you," Smith declared, targeting Haliburton's passive play during the loss.
That's a very ignorant statement on his part. You know what I'm saying? It is. First of all, let me be very, very clear. That's a very ignorant statement on his part. Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, Shaq, y'all, you, others, Kendrick Perkins.
I know. We all know.
I'm just saying. So what do you mean? Cats don't know. That's the media. That's who you talking about. Now you talking about me. I'm the guy that wanted him drafted by the New York Knicks. I'm the guy that said that the players were wrong to label him overrated. Did you remember that? So I give him credit. He was smart enough not to mention my name because he was assuming. Because had he mentioned me, I'd go in deeper, but I won't. What I will say to you is this. In the end, it just amazes me how cats can be sometimes. Win the damn chip, bro. Win the damn chip. Because the first 2 games of this NBA Finals Series, you had your moment with 0.3 seconds left. Other than that, you didn't play well. And Shai Gilgeous was giving it to y'all. He was averaging 36 coming into the game, reigning league MVP. That ain't on me. That's on.
Smith continued his criticism with a warning.
You know, and oh, by the way, just in case he was talking about me, my brother, I'm not going away.
No, you're not.
I'm going to be here for a while. You said, read the news? I'm going to be here for a while. So next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that, I'm going to be here. And players far more accomplished and far more superior have made their efforts trying to call me out. How has that worked out?
The media storm intensified when multiple outlets highlighted Haliburton's scoring struggles. A player poll from earlier in the year had labeled him the league's most overrated player. Critics pointed to his inconsistent scoring during the regular season, mentioning multiple games where he failed to reach double digits. But Game 3 changed everything. Haliburton bounced back with authority, posting 22 points on efficient 9 of 17 shooting. He added 11 assists and 9 rebounds in the Pacers' commanding 116-107 victory. The performance silenced his harshest critics, at least temporarily. Even Kendrick Perkins acknowledged the turnaround. Perkins said, "He finally arrived to the NBA Finals. To us box score watchers, he outplayed SGA." Then came the moment that shifted the entire narrative. During the post-Game 3 press conference, reporters asked Haliburton about the media criticism surrounding his performances. His response cut through the noise with surgical precision. "Most of the time, the talking heads on the major platforms, I couldn't care less honestly. Like, what do they really know about basketball?"
Yeah, I think the commentary is always going to be what it is. You know, most of the time, the talking heads on the major platforms, I couldn't care less, honestly. Like, what do they really know about basketball?
He continued.
But the commentary is what it is at this point. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, we're here in the NBA Finals 2 wins away from an NBA championship. So, you just got to stay with it, put my head down, keep working. And as a group, we just got to keep learning from our mistakes, see where we can get better, and take it a day at a time.
Thank you, Tyrese. Appreciate it. Pascal will be right up. Pascal coming in now.
Haliburton strategically avoided naming specific critics. His calculated approach demonstrated media savvy beyond his years. The 6'5" guard had officially broken his silence, but his words carried deeper implications. Stephen A. Smith took the comments personally. On the following day's First Take, Smith launched into a fiery response. "That's a very ignorant statement on his part," Smith declared, flanked by the Morris twins and Jay Williams. Smith's defense became increasingly personal.
Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, Shaq, y'all, you, others, Kendrick Perkins.
I know. We all know.
I'm just saying. So what do you mean? Cats don't know. That's the media. That's who you talking about. Now
The ESPN personality reminded viewers of his previous support for Haliburton. I'm the guy that wanted him drafted by the New York Knicks. I'm the guy that said that the players were wrong to label him overrated.
I'm the guy that wanted him drafted by the New York Knicks. I'm the guy that said that the players were wrong to label him overrated.
Smith then delivered what became his signature line in this feud. I don't get paid to talk to you. I get paid to talk about you.
I don't get paid to talk to you. I get paid to talk about you.
His rant continued with escalating intensity. Just in case he was talking about me, players far more accomplished and far more superior have made their efforts trying to call me out. How has that worked out?
Hey, just in case he was talking about me. My brother, I'm not going away.
No, you're not.
I'm going to be here for a while. You read the news? I'm going to be here for a while. So next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that, I'm going to be here. And players far more accomplished and far more superior have made their efforts trying to call me out. How has that worked out?
Smith emphasized his staying power at ESPN. Unfortunately, a lot of guys are not as fortunate as I am from this standpoint. They have to talk to you. I don't get paid to talk to you. I get paid to talk about you. Whether I speak or whatever it is, you don't stop this train. It is a locomotive because, you know, we've been number one for 13 straight years.
I don't get the beauty of me, unfortunately, a lot of guys aren't lucky and as fortunate as I am from this standpoint. They have to talk to you. I don't get paid to talk to you. I get paid to talk about you. So whether I speak to them or not or whatever it is, you don't stop this train.
Yeah, the train keeps moving.
And last thing,
it's a locomotive.
And last thing,
it
is a locomotive because, we've been number one for 13 straight years.
Oh, we got a we on that.
The controversy reached new heights during Game 4. While most fans at Gainbridge Fieldhouse wore traditional Pacers gold, two courtside attendees chose a different approach. They arrived dressed in the iconic orange and blue tuxedos from the 1994 comedy Dumb and Dumber. Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels had made these outfits famous as Lloyd Christmas and Harry Dunn. But the fans added a modern twist. Each held oversized face cutouts of Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins. The orange tuxedo symbolized Smith's New York Knicks loyalty, while the blue represented Perkins' former team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. The visual statement was unmistakable. Social media erupted immediately. One user posted, "Absolutely incredible troll job by Pacers fans, dressed as Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins. Dumb and Dumber tuxedos and all." Another fan highlighted the positioning. Two guys in the front row at the Pacers game dressed like Dumb and Dumber with Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins faces on their suits. The courtside location amplified the message's visibility. ESPN cameras notably avoided zooming in on the fans during the broadcast, suggesting the network recognized the pointed criticism. One of the costumed fans posted on social media, "They upgraded me and at Dr. Perky 40 to courtside. Come on, Pacers, let's get a big win tonight." The reactions kept flowing. "Best thing I've seen tonight, Dumb and Dumber at the Pacer game tonight." Another user asked directly, "Are these two guys front row at the Pacers game calling Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins dumb and dumber?" The stunt represented more than simple trolling. It reflected growing fan fatigue with national analysts' takes. Smith and Perkins had been particularly vocal critics throughout the postseason, including their commentary on players like Luka Doncic. Smith had recently criticized Doncic's conditioning on First Take. "If you are any kind of great player, great at anything that requires conditioning, and you lack it, you have a leadership problem. Don't want you proud Cedros to win." Perkins had repeatedly questioned Doncic's impact during his time with the Lakers. The Indiana fans might not have personal stakes in the Doncic debate, but their message about media fatigue resonated universally. Then another controversy emerged. A fan inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse captured a photograph that would add fuel to the fire. The image appeared to show Stephen A. Smith playing Solitaire on his phone during Game 4 action. How can you have all of these opinions while you're playing Solitaire instead of watching the game at Stephen A. Smith? The fan wrote alongside the photo. Another attendee confirmed the timing. "I'm sitting right in front of him. This isn't during a timeout. It's during the game." The photo spread rapidly across social media platforms. Fans seized the opportunity to question Smith's engagement with the very games he analyzed professionally. "Can't even dial in and watch the NBA Finals," one user commented. "Can we for once get basketball analysts who enjoy watching basketball?" Another asked. The criticism became more pointed. "So he's allowed to talk shit about Haliburton, but he's not even watching the game." Smith responded after the game with characteristic defiance. "Yep, that's me. Who would have thought I can multitask, especially during timeouts? Hope y'all are enjoying the NBA Finals." He added his series prediction. "This is going 7 games now, peeps." One fan joked about the significance, quite possibly the most important piece of investigative journalism of the past 100 years. The controversy expanded beyond ESPN's main personalities. Fox Sports' Nick Wright weighed in on Haliburton's media criticism. He said, "I do have this question. Who can talk about basketball? Because the answer can't be the retired players. Have you heard these podcasts? You might think some of our takes are out of line. I don't know if you guys have sampled some of the retired players' podcasts and what's happening in those streets. Bad basketball takes no country. They can come from any source. And good basketball takes no country either." Wright's measured response contrasted sharply with Smith's emotional reaction. Wright used facts to support his argument, noting that when Haliburton took 17 shots and scored 22 points in Game 3, the Pacers won. Former MLB star Cody Decker added another layer to the controversy. Decker had recently been fired from SiriusXM when Stephen A. Smith received new radio shows with the network. His time slot was given to Smith. Decker posted Smith's Haliburton response on social media with a pointed comment, "Those that empowered this little bitch." The personal nature of Decker's attack revealed the broader tension Smith's media presence created across different sports platforms. Shedeur Sanders faces his biggest challenge yet with the Cleveland Browns. The 5th-round quarterback, already fighting an uphill battle after one of the most dramatic draft slides in recent memory, now confronts what many consider a devastating blow to his professional aspirations. The situation unfolding in Cleveland represents far more than typical rookie growing pains. Sanders finds himself in a perfect storm of circumstances that threatens to derail his NFL dreams before they truly begin. Understanding how he reached this point requires examining the complex web of events that transformed a projected first-round talent into a 5th-round selection fighting for roster survival. Sanders entered the 2025 NFL Draft with expectations that bordered on the extraordinary. Draft analysts positioned him as a potential top 5 selection, praising his exceptional college performance and football intelligence. His final season at Colorado produced remarkable statistics that typically guarantee high draft positioning: 4,134 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, and just 10 interceptions while completing passes at a nation-leading 74.2% rate. The accolades reinforced his draft stock. Sanders claimed the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, recognizing the nation's top upperclassman quarterback alongside the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year honor. His 4-year college career spanning Jackson State and Colorado yielded 14,347 passing yards, 134 touchdowns, and merely 27 interceptions while maintaining a 70.1% completion rate. Yet something went catastrophically wrong during the pre-draft process. Sanders plummeted from potential top 5 selection to the 144th overall pick in the 5th round, where the Cleveland Browns finally ended his slide by trading up to secure his services. This represented a fall of over 100 draft positions and cost Sanders approximately $36 million in guaranteed money. The financial implications paint a stark picture of how dramatically his fortunes changed. While Mason Graham, selected 5th overall by the Browns, secured a contract worth nearly 10 times Sanders' deal, the quarterback signed a 4-year contract valued at just $4.6 million. His minimum salary amounts to approximately $840,000 annually, a fraction of what first-round quarterbacks typically earn. The reasons behind Sanders' draft slide centered on character concerns rather than football talent. Anonymous reports emerged questioning his professionalism and attitude during team interviews. The NFL Network cited an assistant coach describing Sanders as entitled and claiming he participated in the worst formal interview the coach had experienced. Multiple executives contributed similar anecdotes that damaged Sanders' reputation. NFL insider Josina Anderson reported that the 23-year-old quarterback came across as brash and arrogant during the evaluation process, though Anderson herself questioned whether these characterizations accurately reflected Sanders' actual demeanor. NFL draft analyst Todd McShay provided additional ammunition for the negative narrative. McShay claimed he heard from two teams that Sanders appeared indifferent to their opinions during interviews, approaching the process in a way that wasn't professional. These reports gained momentum throughout the pre-draft cycle, creating a snowball effect that ultimately torpedoed his draft stock. Specific allegations included claims that Sanders failed a surprise test during a meeting with the New York Giants. Other reports suggested he wore headphones during team meetings and appeared disengaged throughout interviews. Ross Tucker added to the controversy by claiming Sanders declined 3 interview requests from interested teams. The most damaging aspect of these reports was their anonymous nature. Teams and evaluators could level accusations without accountability, making it impossible for Sanders to directly address specific concerns or provide context for alleged incidents. The mounting criticism eventually prompted a passionate response from Deion Sanders, the legendary NFL player and current Colorado head coach. Speaking with former NFL cornerback Asante Samuel, the elder Sanders launched an aggressive defense of his son's character and professionalism. They want to create these narratives and create these stories, and then attach them to a kid that ain't never done nothing wrong, Deion Sanders declared during the interview. His frustration was palpable as he systematically addressed each allegation against his son. The headphones allegation particularly incensed Deion Sanders.
I know it was a lot of rumors about the next level, and I can't see that. I can't see the next level. And I think a couple people who may have taken shots at my kids, they were afraid that I would go. That's where the shots came from. All you got to do is just sit back and listen. People don't want to do that. They want to create these narratives and create these stories and then attach them to a kid that ain't never done nothing wrong.
Yeah. How does that make you feel when you see your colleagues or your peers going in on you, man? Like, how does that make you feel?
No idea, man. You have no idea. We've always been in front of the camera, so they know how to navigate. They know how to handle themselves. Yeah. And you're not going to catch them in no foolery and no mess. You're not, when you sit up there and say something.
Deion Sanders emphasized his son's adaptability and professional growth throughout college. He said,
like, he went in a meeting unprepared. Like, dude, Shedeur Sanders, who's had 6 different coordinators, who has still functioned and went up, leveled up every time we brought somebody new in, and you're gonna tell me
every situation.
You're gonna tell me he had on headphones.
So you a dog, your kid's a dog, and dogs gonna always rise to the top. You know what I mean? That's what I believe. You know what I mean? Then we're talking about
it did hurt. The Bible says God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. So it was some foolish stuff that went on, but you know what? That gave them something that they needed.
The emotional toll of the situation became evident when Deion Sanders admitted the impact on his family. It did hurt, he acknowledged. It did hurt. However, he framed the adversity as motivation for both Shedeur and his brother Shiloh, who went undrafted and signed with Tampa Bay as a free agent. Drawing parallels to Tom Brady's 6th-round selection, Deion Sanders suggested that being overlooked could provide the edge necessary for NFL success. He explained, "The Bible says God uses the foolish things to confound the wise, so it was some foolish stuff that went on, but you know what? That gave them something that they needed, like that edge that Tom had." Deion Sanders also revealed he had been dealing with health issues that kept him out of the media spotlight following the draft. He mentioned losing about 14 pounds while battling an unspecified condition. The Pittsburgh Steelers emerged as a fascinating case study in how teams evaluated Sanders. Head coach Mike Tomlin reportedly expressed interest in the Colorado quarterback throughout the pre-draft process, making their decision to pass on him multiple times particularly noteworthy. Sports Illustrated's Albert Breyer provided insight into the Steelers' reasoning during an appearance on the Bill Simmons podcast. Breer suggested that Pittsburgh's disappointing experience with Russell Wilson in 2024 influenced their reluctance to invest in another quarterback. Breer explained, "I think people there would tell you that the Russell Wilson thing undermines so many things in the last month of the season, and that a lot of that building really wanted them to go back to Justin Fields. And it was something where Tomlin was kind of, again, all on his own on that one.